What inspires change? What motivates us? It's what's inside that moves us. What moves you? Get the Scion story at scion.com.
The second and final day of closing arguments went underway today in the Sardoma drug trial. It's considered one of the biggest drug cases in the last decade on Guam. It accuses Mateo Sardoma of being a drug kingpin, Rudy Sablan of being his right-hand man and enforcer, and Sardoma's girlfriend, Maria Cristina Edrosa, of helping him in the conspiracy. Sardoma's defense attorney, Curtis Vandeveld, profiled each of the witnesses who testified against his client, calling them a pack of liars and questioning their credibilities. They're nothing but, quote, witnesses who come in and crap in the river of evidence. But even those who weren't charged in federal court lied on the stand, he says. For example, contractor Crescencio Gunda testified that he was beaten, bound, and gagged by Sardoma, Sablan, and Christopher Mesa because Sardoma falsely accused him of stealing meth from him. He managed to escape, but not before the three allegedly brutally beat him, knocking out 2 of his teeth and burning the back of his hand when they discharged a gun with an empty chamber into it. Vandeveld says if that's the case, then why wasn't the hair on his hand burned off as well? In addition, in pictures taken 24 hours after the alleged attack, Vandeveld says he had no holes in his gums from where his teeth were supposedly punched out, and he lacked any bruising on his face or body that would be consistent with a beating. Vandeveld then pointed out that since the summer of 2009, Sardoma has been subjected to many surprise searches, but no stash of ice has ever been found in any search. However, in his closing rebuttal, lead prosecutor attorney Fred Black said the government doesn't need to prove that there were any drugs found with Sardoma. What the government has to prove is that he conspired to distribute methamphetamine, he says. Why wasn't any drug paraphernalia found in Sardoma's home, Vandeveld asks. Because he's the big guy. He doesn't deal in little straws, Black barks back. But Vandeveld also disputed some of the circumstantial evidence, saying there are innocent explanations for them. For example, the elaborate gun safe hidden behind a cabinet. Vandeveld says Sardoma's father used to own a gun shop. The $53,000 that was spent to renovate his home that allegedly came from illicit drug activity, Vandeveld says the government can't prove it's even Sardoma's money. The home belonged to Sardoma's parents, and no one has bothered to check how much they make. If you believe all of these witnesses have come in here and crapped all over the truth, you put the mark in not guilty, he told jurors. Meanwhile, Edrosa's attorney, Jackie Terlahi, told the jury that Sardoma is no kingpin. They already had the real kingpin, Brian San Augustine, but let him go because he agreed to a plea deal. They're pointing the finger at the wrong guy. They already had their kingpin. Brian San Augustine was the kingpin all along. San Augustine is accused of sending over 35 pounds of crystal meth from California to Guam. He was indicted separately but accepted a plea agreement with the U.S. government in exchange for testifying against Sardoma. Terlahi further points out that the gun the government claims Edrosa purchased for Sardoma, who is a convicted felon, could not be unmistakably identified by several witnesses who saw the gun. She argues that the government does not only need to prove that the gun they saw was one of 200 9mm Springfield handguns on Guam, but the 9mm registered under Edrosa's name with the exact same serial number. Finally, Black closed by explaining why Sardoma appeared clean on the surface. It's because he set up this organization based on secrecy so that other people could be blamed, he says. Many of these witnesses didn't even know each other, but they all knew Sardoma. Furthermore, he says some of them pled guilty before Sardoma was even arrested.